Imagine there's music playing and there's a theme song, something slides across the screen, and all that fun stuff that happens at the start of a show. It's Wednesdays at 7 and his name is William Brian Miles, but you can call him WBM. Wake up with WBM. Wake up with WBM. At night, in the morning, whenever it feels right. Wake up with WBM. WBM. Should we keep it open or should we keep it closed? I can't decide. Oh, that helps. Just give you a little more skin. A little. There we go. Oh, this is feeling very rock and roll. I like that. But we may come back to that. So good evening. My name is William Bryant Miles, but you can call me WBM, and this is what? Wake Up With Who? WBM. It's morning TV for the 21st century. So progressive, so genre defying that even though it's the morning TV, it's not even in the morning. Coming at you live from New York City, where we are in the middle of, I don't know if we can call it a heat wave, or we're just in the middle of summer, where it is hot as balls. It is 7 o'clock at night, and it feels like 95 degrees and like 97% humidity. I was supposed to exercise today, and that didn't happen, in addition to trying to actually be productive and get tasks done, especially for people who have paid me to do said tasks, or have promised payment. I was just too hot, and I just couldn't bring myself to leave the air conditioning, or the air con, as the British would say. So today we have a jam-packed story for you. It is, I don't even know what today's date is. It's the 29th. The 29th of July, which is the 7th month. This is the 2020th year in this count up, so to speak. And I'm just really happy to be with you guys here. We're going to do a little soft beat. I'm not as sweaty as I was last week, so we can play a little bit. We can play a little bit more than I did last time. The colors still don't match, because who's going into a store to get matched? I don't even think you can get matched in a store. Like, I think even if I walked into a Sephora or an Ulta or any of the beauty chains, or even a local beauty supply, well, the local beauty supply might be a little lax, you know. Those kinds of places tend to be a little bit more of a, renegade, or they tend to be a bit more renegade-ish. But I don't even think if I walked in there, I could get a, you know, that they would even allow me. Look at this. Now the makeup doesn't even pump out. They would allow me to try the color, so I still would have to like kind of shoot, you know, just shoot and see what happens. So that being said, the colors don't match, but you know, the beauty of it is that we can figure out a way. Look at that magic. You play with it enough and you will end up with maybe not a match, but a whole new face. And so that's what we're aiming for. A whole new face. I feel like I've made that joke here before. I know some of the super fans will share and let me know if indeed I have. One thing about this NYX makeup, I don't know if you have had the same issue, people out there, but it clogs. I feel like every week I have this issue with the makeup color just not matching, or I mean, excuse me, makeup color not matching, where the makeup hole clogs up, and like I have to do everything that I just did, which is fine, I guess, because I love having fun with you guys, but it's not fine insofar as that shouldn't happen. So we've already based the face. We've done our normal routine. We've cleansed. We've added moisturizer. And, you know, I'm just nice and greasy. I'm not doing much with the brows today, so we're just going to go ahead and just brush those out. I did see that my eyebrow shop is open. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted my unibrow to grow fuller. I guess this is all that we're going to get 5 months in. My eyebrow shop is open, but I just don't know. I feel like, you know, getting your eyebrows done is just so face to face. Like, even with the mask and all that stuff, it's just asking a lot of, like, breath in my face, breath in their face. It just feels like a lot of breath is being passed around. So for someone like me, that is maybe not the best, and someone like me, I mean, is just like paranoid and reclusive. So this is just what my eyebrows are going to be, and I don't have the constitution to do them myself, as in give myself that kind of pain, you know, that kind of torture. Look at that. I went to the beach, so I have a little bit of a tan. Oh, this is just all wrong now. And you know, I love my tan. This is just terrible. I'm enjoying my tan. I love the nice warm dulcet tones. I don't know if dulcet tones apply to like skin. I think that's like vocal, you know, like warm, velvety, smooth. But I'm supposed to leave a border for the hair. But you know, we're just gonna work it out with what we can and do what we can when we can, for those whom we can, where we can, and how we can. So a lot has happened in the last week. Nothing in my personal life because I don't have one anymore. But a lot has happened in the world, you know. TV shows, P-Valley, which I do encourage all of you to watch. It got picked up for a third season. I will say, week after week, and I will say as if I really dragged them on the show. I haven't. But week after week, the show has improved, which I think is the mark of a good sign for a new show, because we do know that with a pilot, you know, you have your hypothesis as the showrunner, as the creator, and you know how you want things to be, but things haven't really gelled. Case in point, we look at season 1 of A Different World, and if you base anything on that first season, oh my God, that show should have never been allowed to continue. It was just not good at all. But thanks to Howard University, Debbie Allen, HU, you know, came in and made the show good. And so I do think that like week after week, it's getting better. People are settling into their roles. I'm clearer about what's happening. You know, I still have some big questions, but I'm gonna just wait until the time continues to see if, to wait until the time continues. Does that sentence make sense? I'm just going to allow the show to continue to see if it will answer all my questions. It's only an 8-episode season, so next Sunday, which is like 4 days from now, we will be halfway through the season. But they did get renewed for a second season, which is very, very exciting. And shout out to that. It's always directed by women. It is executive produced and created by a Black woman. Co-executive producers, we got a Black queer man in there. We have a Black gay character that's got some unique perspective and development. So, you know, there's some interesting things happening. Black women popping that pussy on the pole, if you're into that sort of thing. You know, I totally recommend that. If you're not into that sort of thing, you may still find something you like. Isaiah Washington is there. As far as I know, he's not dropping any F-bombs or being problematic in that way. So that's a good sign. You know what I mean? So I'll say check that out. Also happening, if you're in England, this is finished for you. Please don't spoil it for the rest of us. But there's this show called I May Destroy You, which is pulling into the final third of its episodes, I believe. But, you know, we're deep in it. And this last week's episode was really interesting. And I was engaged and embroiled in a very robust conversation about it, because the main character does something kind of kooky where, you know, she's having, I don't know if psychotic break is the word, but she's suffering from some trauma related to her sexual assault. And so she throws herself into the arms of a former paramour. Except the paramour lives, and this is a spoiler alert, be warned, but the paramour, depending on who you ask, i.e. him or her, they were not together for real. You know, they were just a fling. And he lives in Rome. She lives in London. So, well, he lives just outside of Rome. And she lives in London. So for her to thrust herself into his arms required a plane ticket that she may or may not have had the money to finance herself. And so it was very extreme. And then she decides to just show up in his house. And that is very odd, right? And so some people were trying to defend it because basically the dude reacts very aggressively. I'll leave some of that in case you do want to catch it. He reacts very aggressively. And so some people were like, he was being cruel. I mean, he wasn't physically violent to her, but his response was very strong. And so some people said that he was, hey to all the people, Mr. Spradley, Brindlin King, hey everybody. People were saying that he was being like overly harsh. They even called him cruel. There's another contour that is not the one that I have here that I'm looking for. And I knew when I set this up, I was like, something's missing, but I saw this. And so I thought this was what I was looking for, but it's not. So we're just going to make this work. And I felt like he wasn't being cruel. Like, I think that, you know, what's important and what I think is so beautiful about this show is that in addition to being able to stand up to like, hey, Robert Anthony, in addition to being able to stand up to, you know, true dramatic criticism and like really being able to tease apart the characters and the, why they do what they do and just be able to really see that's not dark enough. And now I'm upset. To not be able to, you know, to be able to do that and debate all of that. It also, I think, you know, is good because it has secondary characters. I'm really upset. It has secondary characters that are developed as, or not, I won't say developed because like the boyfriend isn't super developed. This is so funny. This is because I have a tan and everything. This is now like the same fucking color. We can maybe build it up a little more. The boyfriend isn't like super developed. We don't know his backstory, but I knew enough to be like, well, let's look at it from his perspective. And I do think that like you show not just at someone's house, but in someone's house, unannounced, you kind of invite a range of responses, right? Like from the most violent, especially if, you know, depending on how and when they encounter you, they may have just really gone for it. You know what I mean? Been like, oh shit, I'm under attack. To just like, I know me, right? And this ain't even about like violence or anything. You can be my best friend in the whole world. If I wasn't planning to see you, it takes me a second to just get my bearings because I wasn't in that headspace. You know what I mean? So I just think that like you have to be prepared for however people react. And then she like just takes it to the max. And so he takes it to the absolute max. And I'm like, yeah, I know that sis is dealing with a lot. She has her sexual assault. Her mind is not right. But one, he doesn't know that. And two, that doesn't absolve us from our, you know, bad choices. It like, I think sometimes people think that like a reason, justifies or excuses or exempts you from accountability. And it's like, nah, girl, even if I know why you did that, you still did it, right? And so whatever the result of that is, you have to kind of face the music and own that. And I just don't know that she was doing that. I thought I was just gonna do a slight whatever, but we're just gonna go for it today. Let's just go for it, even without actually having a contour. So that is, you know, that's what's going on there. I think that it's a beautiful conversation. I love that the characters, you know, exist in a Black-centric universe. So even though there are people of different colors, there's a storyline there where the gay boy goes on a date with a girl because he wants to fuck a girl because he doesn't feel safe fucking men anymore. And then it turns out the girl kind of has like a fetish for Black guys. So yeah, there are white people, and we even have to deal with, you know, like wrong side, white supremacy and those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, the center of the universe, right? Like I have this was given to me by a viewer. So yeah, if you'd like to send me gifts, while we accept the kind that jingle, we prefer the kind that folds. And it had a contour in it, but I dropped it and it broke. So I'll take your gift and break it. I feel badly about that, but I can't change the past. But yeah, so there's a bronzer though. It's a Black-centric universe. Now, as far as the gay guy sleeping with the girl, you know, this may contradict what I said last week, but the girl was kind of salty because she didn't find out he was gay until after the fact. And I don't think he owed her that. And I know this may contradict what I said last week, but I just feel like we forget and we underestimate what we're stepping into when we do a one-night stand. And I'm saying we because I definitely have been there. I have definitely been there on the one-night stand train. And it's like when you give yourself to a stranger, because at the end of the day, that is what a one-night stand is. Try the we may to convince ourselves that you felt like you knew the person, you had a connection or something. They're a stranger. And when we give ourselves to a stranger, you may get things that you didn't sign up for. And I think that like finding out that someone is gay is the least of those things, right? You end up with a baby, you end up with a disease, you end up with a crazy husband coming after you. There's so many things that you can end up with that like we just have to be cognizant of that, and we have to really take that into consideration when we make the choice, and after we make the choice with whatever, you know, comes out, and like as we try to unpack or whatever, you know what I mean, remember what it was or figure out why we did what we did or whatever that is. You just have to, I just want my nose to be really skinny today. Like, let's just do it, because why not? You know what I mean? And also crooked. That was the thing I always struggle with, like in my makeup class, is that like I understand the principles of like shading and contouring very, very well. I'm like actually like master at like blending colors. And if like we get to a watch out of this, you'll see that there's actually 3 colors on my wall, and I custom blended the paint myself. So there's like slight tonal variations, and even on the one wall, it goes from dark to light, very slight gradient. But for whatever reason, drawing a straight line is just not my ministry. And so, oh, hey, Tonye from England joined. Please do not spoil I May Destroy You for us. Bruv, in it, allow it. You know, I just cannot draw a straight line. And so the beauty of a contour is that you get to like redraw your face. But like, why would I redraw my face to be crooked like I did today? Like, you see that? It's like, what she say? It's going doop, doop. And I wanted to go doop. Yeah, so that is my hot take on I May Destroy You. But I think it's a really massively done show. I think that she is a storyteller par excellence. And I'm really, really enjoying everything that's happening with it. Like, there isn't really any overwhelming criticism I have of it, except that I wish that it was like a true, like, traditional, you know, 24 episode season. But maybe that's not the story that they're trying to create. Like, we'll see if the story lends itself to that. This nose is so crooked. We'll see what happens. But we about to have a skinny nose, bish. So, yeah. So that was I May Destroy You. Did you guys see it? Did you guys have any thoughts on it? Like, what were you thinking about it? And, oh, this was the other thing I was going to say. In one of the conversations, what I noticed was that there was like this overwhelming groundswell of people who were just so on the side of Arabella, the protagonist, which on the one hand, I understand, right? Like, she's the protagonist, and that is whose lens the show is, even though the show doesn't have like, it's not like a first person narrator, right? But she is the person we're following most closely. But then on the other end, I'm like, just because you're the protagonist, it doesn't mean that you're beyond reproach. It doesn't mean that we can't like see what you're doing and critique it, right? And still just be like, okay, girl, I know what you did and why you did. And the beauty of it is that like when you're the protagonist, we usually know why you did everything you did. Whereas with the secondary characters, we don't necessarily know the why they did what they did. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate that, right? And that's what a gift. But we also have to accept when you do something that's wrong and that you're not beyond reproach. For me to repeat myself in case y'all didn't hear me the first time, you're not what? Beyond what? Reproach. I don't have not a single piece of eyeshadow or anything to give the children today. So just get into this naked eye. Oh, I do have eye. The thing is, I need someone to come and sit here and do a tutorial with me on how to do like eye makeup, because I have slightly hidden eyebrows and I have like a very strong brow bone in addition to a strong brow. And so I keep saying one day I'm going to use my handy dandy glue stick, which is not here, and get rid of the brows. Maybe next week. Tap like if you'd like to see that. If we do, I do know how to do that, get rid of the brows and draw over them, which will give me a little more space to play in, but it's just so little space in here to play in. And like right now I'm going to color in the brows just to prove a point. So here, and I should do them like real harsh, like 90s brow. Well, 90s brows weren't super dark. They were just super thin. This is looking a little piecey. This brow is looking very piecey. But I just don't know how to fill in that space. So yeah, so that's what I was watching. I also watched Indian Matchmaking, which I have to say I did enjoy it. it was another 8-episode mini binge, you know, just a Saturday on the couch. Decided not to go to the club because that's how you spread coronavirus around. And I've just been hearing too many, like I've heard like first person, you know, just this past weekend I heard for the first time a first person account of like someone who made well, it wasn't the first person, it was the second person. So the person I was talking to wasn't the person who did this, but they knew someone who did, right? And whereas before I've only heard about this on the news where someone, you know, goes to a party like a dummy and then they, at the party, they caught the Rona. And like, you know, they were like, yeah, it was like however many people at the party and like a goodly number, like 5 or 8 people caught the Rona. And not to mention how many other people who probably were even more irresponsible and didn't share it. So anyway, like I said, I wasn't going anywhere because I don't want that to be my reality. I got a lot of stuff on my plate as it is. I don't need no, like, I made a poor choice, which led to someone's demise on my karmic sheet. And so, but see, look at that. Like, where would I put the eyeshadow? It's just so little space. This is all gonna come together though, as it always does with the hair. I do have a little blush, so we just wanna hit that here. Ooh, look at that. Just very rosy, very rosy. I'm so glad you chose me. Well, now my life is rosy. I'm so glad you chose me. Life is one. It's not even a blush brush. That's what's funny. Beautiful sound. When love is right. What can go wrong? This life is one sweet, beautiful song to me. But, Indian matchmaking, I enjoyed it. Like, especially the beginning, I was all in. Like, the beginning, I was like, I'm here for this, you know. I love Indian culture. I'm very fascinated. I think arranged marriages are totally okay as long as everybody involved is on board. So, like, if you decide that you are, like, fine with being in an arranged marriage, I don't care. You know, my problem becomes if you're like, I don't want an arranged marriage and people force that on you. So I was excited to see, you know, kind of like these, I don't know if first person is the word, but I guess first person, and just like these intimate explorations of what an arranged marriage looks like. You know what I mean? But then the show to me kind of flatlined because I also just was like, how you have an Indian show, spoiler alert, and we don't get an Indian wedding? Like, that is what I feel like they're known for throughout the world, right? Like, they know how to do marriage. Well, they know how to do weddings. And so for me, my hair is getting long, guys. We're going to have another video too where I have 3 different textures and one is like, it barely curls. And I don't mean like, oh, I have 4C. It's just like a tight, you know, coily shape. I mean like it's actually kind of straight, which it's in the back. And so that makes my hair, if I don't really work with it, it makes it look kind of like a mullet. And so that's something I'm trying to work with and through to just understand how to better present that to the world. So that was my thing. And then there's this one lady on the show who is just unfucking tenable, insufferable. And she just has like, I just don't understand. They do a good job of explaining kind of how she came to be like that. But even after seeing that, I still was like, how is anybody this insufferable? Like, she says things like, I don't like comedy. She schedules her dates so that they're no longer than an hour because the restaurant's about to close because she just has such low expectations. And I'm like, what the hell? No wonder you're single. You know, it's not like me where there's absolutely no reason. Because I'm perfect. You know, not to mention I'm doing whatever the hell this is that I'm doing right now. I feel very birdcage right now. Anytime I put on a wig cap, I feel very birdcage. Madonna, Madonna, Madonna. Oh, rest in peace, Robin Williams. That's sad. I miss him. That was a really talented actor. So, speaking of talented actors, Emmy nominations came out and the kids are mad because, you know, some of their faves are not nominated. My whole thing on it is like, sure, we can, you know, I know the Academy Awards, for example, has continually added more Black people to the Academy, so that in hopes of trying to diversify the work that gets nominated, and that is obviously a really important first step. But I just think that, like, some of these things, this isn't, I don't mean to sound fatalistic, and this isn't necessarily helpful, but I just feel like something that was not created with you in mind and has existed for 80 years without your well-being in mind, I don't know that they're ever going to get it right. I just don't know, absent burning it down and starting over, like absent just completely revising and resubmitting. I just don't know if they're going to get it right. That said, it's what exists, and it is the highest level, and, based on your performance there, you can demand more money, allegedly. But as we saw with Viola Davis, it's not the case, because she has all of the fucking awards, and they still pay her less, and they still hire her less, and she still has to spend her time in interviews talking about those things instead of the work. So, do y'all want something long and flowy, or do we want something short and shaggy? We've actually seen short and shaggy before. It's not short, but just a little more shaggy. And then we have flowy. First person to make a comment, you get to decide what it is. So the Emmy nomination. So the one oversight that I do think is an absolute oversight, but I'm gonna break it down why it happened, is Aunjanue Ellis in the Clark Sisters movie, which I don't know what it was called, First Ladies of Gospel or something like that. The reason my left hand or your left hand, which is why I said short and shaggy or long. I don't know which left hand you mean, and I don't remember which one was in which hand. Short or long, new, old or new. Short is old, long is new. This also is challenging. I think it's always challenging to say whether or not a person was robbed if you haven't seen, I don't remember which one was in my hand. Use the words I'm giving you. Unless you've seen every work that's been nominated, it's hard to say that someone was robbed, because maybe the other performances were better. You know what I mean? Like, these awards are not simply for good performances that we like. They're saying that they're the best, which means that it is considered amongst the group, right? And it's being judged amongst the group. And so with that consideration, I don't know every performance that was nominated. Eligible. You know what I mean? I'm not a voter. I haven't seen everything. I do watch a lot of stuff, but I also watch things through a very filtered lens. And so there are things that I miss. Now, that being said, I did see at least 2 of the performances that were nominated in this category. And one was Aunjanue Ellis, who I think was denied or was unfairly denied. And then the other one was Octavia Spencer as Madam C.J. Walker in Self-Made, also known as 12 Years a Slave Entrepreneurship Edition. And the reason why I think that, it's a couple of reasons why I think Aunjanue didn't get it. One, I just don't know if the world is ready, quite frankly, for Lifetime to be out here getting, Lifetime movies to be getting award nominations. And I think this is what I'm gonna do. Unless y'all say something real quick, this is what I'm about to do. So I think that's the first part. Actually, no, let's just keep it. We can try. No, I know this is it. Because I have a vision. I just don't think that people are ready for the Lifetime movies to be getting award nominations. Like, I don't know if that's the world that people want to live in. It's not right, but it's okay. And so I hope this is what you meant, girl. But if not, this is a lesson for all of us about what happens when you don't speak clearly. Ooh, that clip in the back just got me. So this one we played with before, but we're going to do something radically different. So we're just going to brush this out. And so I think that's the first thing, right? They don't want the Lifetime awards Lifetime movies to get the awards. But then the other reason why I think that this one didn't hit, Aunjanue Ellis didn't hit, and the reason why Madam C.J. Walker did hit is that the work that Aunjanue Ellis did, if you don't know that woman in real life, and I'm not talking about Aunjanue Ellis, I'm talking about the character she played. If you do not know that woman in real life, you don't realize how well she portrayed that, right? Like, so you don't understand all of the nuances of that performance. You don't understand how she was living and breathing as that woman. And then, well, this is true for Octavia as well, but and that she was embodying a real person. Like when you see the clip of the Clark sisters at the Grammys and they doing that, they not singing, what is it? Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And they doing that step touch. And Mama is like, I'm a step touch too, in my own way. You don't understand it. You know what I mean? You don't get it. See, does this look natural? I feel like I'm giving you natural. Hello to the newcomers. And don't you worry about this little peekaboo. Now, I have 2 ways this could go, but I'm only going to do the one. So we're going to take this vintage silk, dry clean only. Look at that. And you thought, well, this is where it gets tricky. Because I just want to, right here, this is a top tip. When you want to set it back a little bit, set me free, why don't you, babe? But you don't want, because obviously this is nobody's hairline. But we don't want to lose too much. Like this isn't supposed to be a, this isn't supposed to be like a thick headband. We just want a slight drip, so to speak. So we're going to go ahead with that. It's easier to see footage of Mama Clark versus Madam CJ though. Well, no, but what I'm saying is that the thing I had, we'll get into more in a second. I just think that they don't know that woman. And so they don't know the amount of, and yes, you can like mimic, and Hollywood loves a good mimic. That's Jamie Foxx, and Ray, and like a lot of people, that's kind of how they, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's not a talent or that they shouldn't have been lauded for. I'm just saying it's a different style. But you can mimic. But what I'm saying is that like Madam C.J. Walker feels, or the portrayal of Madam C.J. Walker in that film feels much more comfortable to them, right? Like the fact that they took, and I never met Madam C.J. Walker, contrary to what y'all think. I never met her. And so look at this. I'm just giving you fish, right? It's very fishy. It's very fresh. But I also wanted to be a little rock and roll. So we have some colors. We're going to get into the pink. In honor of P Valley, the pink. So we're just going to take our little colors and just work them in a big glob, apparently. And so I just felt like because they don't know that woman, and because what she was doing in Madam C.J. Walker is just much more comfortable to them. You know what I mean? Like that, I think is just more in line with what they wanted to see, right? Like that's how they like to see Black people. So this was definitely not intended for fake hair. I don't know what's happening here. I think we may have to stop. This was not what I thought was going to happen. In my mind, I was like, ooh, because I've used this before on my real hair, and it's been kind of cute and fun, albeit red, not pink, because my hair is dark brown. But this is looking very stupid. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's not looking too crazy. I think I need to just like blend it a little more, because now it's just looking very like aggressive where it starts. It's not like, it's not looking too bad. But yeah, so I just think that that's the part of it, right? Is that like when you don't have the cultural competency, you aren't always able to judge what's happening. And that's no judgment, but it's just like if I went and became I moved to India, I moved to Mumbai, and now I'm judging, I don't know what their awards are, but the awards for Bollywood, and I'm judging Bollywood against the standard of the films that I was born and raised watching. It's like that's unfair to them, and I'm never going to really get it, because what I'm experiencing is not, I don't have the reference, you know what I mean? I don't have the understanding of not just the style, because the style of the film was not specific, but then even the characters that they're bringing to life, like who those characters are. So you just have to, this is like a life lesson. You just got to be, you can't be afraid to go through the ugly before it gets good. And so, you know what I mean? I think that is a big part of the problem. And I think that it's just kind of like, that is terrible. It's just kind of I don't want to say it's a failing proposition. I'm not saying that integration is impossible, but I just think that like absent some serious overhaul, it's just always, at the end of the day, it all just comes back down to everything being seen through the white gaze. And I think that like, we just need to accept, I don't know if I want to say accept that, but we have to acknowledge that, and we have to steady ourselves. And I think we need to, you know, continue to invest in our things. And I think that like a gross overhaul, like just being like, you know, let's just start from scratch would be great. I don't know that that is possible at this time. I don't know if I'm offering any solutions, to be quite honest. So maybe I'll talk about something else. So that is what was going on with the Emmys. But yeah, and so I just think that, like, you know, shout out to Insecure, shout out to all the Black folk that were nominated, Watchmen, you know, Blackish, people are getting nominated, and I think that's great, and I'm rooting for everybody Black and good. You know, like I do believe in rooting for everybody Black, but I think that rooting for Black people solely on the sake of them being Black is actually anti-Black, when we know good and damn well they're not good. So, for example, I did not enjoy Octavia Spencer's performance in that piece. I thought it was very flat and slavish, unnecessarily so I'm not rooting for her just because she's Black, because I think there are Black actors who are capable of delivering great work. And so I don't think that it serves us in any way to continue to, and this is not an indictment of the actor. I'm talking about a specific performance in a specific project. You know what I mean? I just don't think it serves us to continue to just be like, but she Black, when we know that they weren't doing the best work. And part and parcel, or in line with that, is Netflix anti-Black? And I'm gonna ask that because, did y'all see Fatal Affair? That's anti-Blackness. Like, to greenlight that film and produce it and release it, you cannot like Black people. There is no way that you can do that. What about Black Lady Sketch Show's nomination? Shout out to them. I didn't enjoy that show either. I would have rather seen Astronomy Club get nominated. I thought Astronomy Club was by far better. But I'm also not a Black lady, so I when I didn't enjoy that show, I just simply was like, well, it wasn't made for me, or about me, or by me, and so what I think about it don't matter, because that's not, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not for me, and maybe there are things about it I don't get because I'm not a Black lady. I'm gonna defer to the Black ladies on the full dressing down of that. So with that one, I'm like, yes, I'm supporting everybody Black. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing that. See, I'm giving y'all a little rock and roll PC. It's coming together. You know how we do here. It's like life. Someone said everything on Netflix. Most things Netflix puts out is ghetto. Most things Netflix put out is ghetto. Bad movies is a genre on Netflix. It is, but maybe it's, again, I only watch the Black ones, even though I have seen some white ones that are bad. But they, and for a while they had a lot of like queer, independent, bad movies. They stopped buying those, I guess. This is very rock and roll. But you see, what I love here is that, like, it's looking, ooh, this wig. Ooh, woo. You can see the whole moment there, but we just lean back and you don't. So we're going to close this up. This also has a very strong smell, but I think it's the hair. I don't know if it's the hair, because it's been through a lot of changes. I kind of want it to be a little pinker, though. You know, if the wig is ruined, why not take it all the way to the max? Pink like the inside of your, maybe pink like the that's going, maybe. But see, that's the problem with this. This is why it's for real hair. And I wonder if it would do this on real hair, or if it's because this hair is plastic in of itself, is that it's like, it's a wax, you know what I mean? So now it's just very clumpy. Ooh. And so then you have to like comb it to bring it back to life. But then should we just make it very like stiff stuff? Because I could do that. Like, I can just kind of create a curl. Sweet Magnolias is really boring, but it's not as, I didn't enjoy Sweet Magnolias. It's not good, like, to me. But the thing with like Fatal Affair was that it's just very, they had a budget, looks like, you know, they definitely had at least a drone and some good cameras, you know, everyone looks great, but it just was so improbable. Like, there were so many things wrong with that film. Like, I just didn't understand how he's a computer hacker, but she cracked his password in like 2 guesses. Like, all of the people I know who are not even real hackers, but who are just like obsessed with computers, will be like, oh, the password, you know, safety first, the password is ZK9 capital J exclamation mark 63 dash underscore overscore etc. So that someone said maybe Netflix acquired the rights to all the classic black shows as an apology for the bad black movies. I guess, I hope, but I think they did it just to play with Monique. That's what I think. But you know, it's just very. This is giving you very 90s. No, this is giving me very, like, aside from the headband, but this part is giving me very 2000s. Like, I almost want to be like, when you're out in the club, don't think I'm not. Even when you're out making love, don't think I'm not. When you're feeling good in somebody's spot, getting hot, don't stop. Just don't think I'm not, 'cause I'm out getting mine. Don't be surprised to know that sometimes women play the field. You may not believe it, but it's real. The game is so real. This is what I always hated about that song. If you don't know, that's Kandi, Don't Think I'm Not. That part sounds like there should be another lyric. You may not believe it, but it's real. The game is so real. Da-da-da-da. But all she says is, so real, so real. Don't think we won't do it when you're out in the club. So that's my I'm a Kandi tribute. Someone said, Nick V said, what I just walked into. I am a Kandi tribute artist, and that is my performance. So that is, yeah. So there was just so many, yeah, like that was just one of many offenses. And they offer, you know, maybe I'll make a video or a podcast. I spent a whole bunch of money, so I have like all kinds of podcast equipment and all kinds of stuff to make stuff happen. But ain't none of it hooked up and I don't know how to use it. So if you want to come do a tutorial, I need some shelves hung. If you want to come do that, let me know. If you're not the killer. If you're the killer, I'm kind of good, but thank you for your offer. Do I want to... Should I put... I don't think so. Let's just keep this nice hot eye, under eye contour. This is giving me very Drag Race, actually. Like, I feel like I could be... This is like the backyard barbecue challenge. And this shirt would be tied at the waist, you know what I mean? To just be very like... Kink, 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 kink. But I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So maybe I'll do a whole podcast just breaking down, like, all of those bad movies and just, like, how they could be fixed. I think that actually be kind of fun. Because that movie was so funny, is as bad as it was, of all of the bad things I've seen out there, that one has, like, some very low-hanging fruit and easy fix. Like, there's an easy way to fix that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fix this wax plastic shit in my combs and brush, but maybe. So yeah, so that was that. I need a sip. And this is just water for all y'all people out there trying to monitor my substance abuse intake. Not that there is any abuse or whatever, but some of y'all just be worried about what I'm doing. So I just want to let you know. Do I want to put a little green in here? What would happen if I did that? Nothing. That was God. God blocked it. Yeah, so that was what's going on with that movie. And it's like, first they did A Fall from Grace, right? Which I don't think that can be fixed. And then they did this. It's like, y'all don't care about black people. There's no way. No way. No way. No way. But speaking of people who do care about black people, shout out to HBO for running Howard University in the nation's capital with a cool $1 million. Shout out to the Apollo Theater, who they also ran $1 million to. Most importantly, shout out to Ta-Nehisi Coates, Susan Kelechi Watson, and the fabulous, the incomparable Camila Forbes, together, the three of which orchestrated, and I believe the award is like the Coates, Forbes, Watson, HBO, something or other fund, which I just think is like, you know, this is a game changer, because what a lot of people don't realize with HBCUs is that, just as with black people, right, we do not have the same footing, even though we have the same intellectual capacity and the same ability to teach and learn, we don't have the same footing in terms of financial disposition, both for the individuals and the institution. And so these kinds of gifts are not normal or historically have not been the norm for our institutions. And so it's really exciting. And then also a part of that is Mackenzie, formerly known as Bezos. I want to say Scott. Let me not be completely raggedy. Mackenzie Scott. She's out here showing the girls how you do it. You want to talk about gooping the girls? So, after Jeff Bezos did whatever the hell he did and just acted a plumb fool, she said, okay, I'll take this little $30 billion plus and I'm gonna just give it away, which is kind of like the antithesis of him. And so I just enjoy watching her give Howard University, again in the nation's capital, $40 million. She gave Tuskegee $20 million, Morehouse $20 million, Spelman an undisclosed amount, Hampton an undisclosed amount, Xavier University another undisclosed amount. And she basically has already given away like over $1 billion of her fortune, and she's said that she plans to give it all away. I think that's fabulous. I mean, to be quite honest, this is all speculation because I don't have it. But I would think if I had billions of dollars, I would do the same thing. Like, what the fuck can you do with it? Like, I think it's kind of gross and vulgar that people are allowed to acquire that much wealth. Like, I don't get it. And I think that it's really peculiar and gross and inhumane that a person would want to, knowing that they're suffering. I'm not so far gone on the socialist train that like, I think that people can't have nice things. And if you want to buy yourself a Birkin bag, sure. If you want to buy your kid a Birkin bag, personally, I think it's odd. And I think that like you need to check in like just values and like what you're teaching your child by doing that. But sure, you know what I mean? But you can not be a billionaire and do that. You know, you don't have to have $1 billion to have nice things, including excessively and obscenely nice things. That like there's a way to have wealth and resources that is just not such a hoard. So I was very excited about that, and I hope that it inspires other people to do the same. And talking to a colleague who also was a Howard alum, though, we did discuss the fact that, as is the case with so many things, that like the shiny piece of jewelry gets polished, but the whole jewelry box needs to be looked after. And there are so many other HBCUs that are not Howard, that are not Spelman, that are not Morehouse, that need resources as well. And so I hope that when people are thinking about that, they're thinking about the Norfolk State Universities and the Morgan States and this Benedict and the Bennetts and other schools that are still doing fine work and producing scholars, and especially in the instance of some of the less prestigious, we'll say, HBCUs, are providing opportunities for people who really have not would not have had access in any other way. You know what I mean? Because like we know that these iniquities still exist in our society, and that our people, Black people, are definitely faced with them more than others. So joke as I may about Howard being the best, well, that's not a joke, that's the truth. But joke as I may about our inherent superiority because we are, the best HBCU, we're not better than anyone else just off the strength of that. So it's important that all of our HBCUs, the Cheneys, the Lincolns, that everybody is lifted, so that our whole community can be lifted. And everyone, at like the end of the day, everyone can't go to Morehouse or Howard or Spelman. And so what does that mean? Then that those people are forgotten? I don't know. So if I had $1 billion, I would give to all of them. Absent $1 billion, I may have to make some hard choices. But just shout out to all the people, out there moving the needle. And what was really exciting, I think, for pretty much all of the HBCUs I named, I believe that for every one of them, that was the largest gift that they've ever received from an individual, any of them. And so it's a game changer. And like to maybe put it in perspective for people who haven't contemplated what that truly means, think about, it's the difference between somebody saying like, over your lifetime, I'm gonna give you $100,000, which if you live 50 more years from now, right? Like that's what, 2,000. If you get, the network is just ghetto today. You know what I mean? Like that's like, okay, so you're going to get $2,000 a year for 50 years. Or somebody being like, I'm going to give you $100,000 right now. So that $2,000, like all of it is helpful, right? All of it is meaningful. But $2,000 a year is not going to change where you live or how you live. $2,000 is not going to allow you to start a business or not in the way that you want. Whereas $100,000 can be like, wow. So $2,000 would be like, okay, great. I know that I have a vacation paid for every year. You know what I mean? $100,000 at once is like, wow, I can start a business, or I can pay off this saddling debt, which would then allow me to see $3,000 each year because of that interest I'm no longer paying. Or, you know, I can move into a new neighborhood, which will allow my kids to not only go on vacation every year, like I can earn that myself, but that we can enjoy our home better and they can have opportunities where they go to school. It's just so many more things you can do when you get all that money at once. You know what I mean? And you can also put money to one side and grow it and, you know, make infrastructural investments that require a big check at one time. You know what I mean? Like, the construction firm is not always going to let you buy it on credit. Or even if you buy it on credit, what you can buy on credit with $40 million is very different than what you can buy on credit with not. So just super exciting with that. I'm excited about that. I'm concerned about this hair though. Like, I don't know. Don't know if you got a man. Don't mean to disrespect, but those if you rule my world. I don't think that was the next line. I always mess up that song. I'm just way too shy. So then the other thing that was going around was, you know, everybody on my fucking timeline with these black and white photos. And I just got to be contrarian for once. I hate it. I hate all of these challenges. I really do. I really, 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 really hate them all. For different reasons and different degrees of hate. But, the thing that binds all of them is that, like, let's just call a thing a thing. It's all rooted in vanity and vapidness. The whole fucking app is in general. But, like, at least we sometimes try to, like, artfully construct it or feel like we're sharing a part of our lives with you and you are being topical. And, you know, I just feel like people who are sharing these old ass pictures in black and white, like, girl, okay. And I don't even know. And then, you know, people were saying that, like, oh, people don't even know what it's about. It's about Turkey because women in Turkey are being killed. And I'm not, like, being sarcastic about that. If women in Turkey are being killed, that's awful and it shouldn't continue to happen. And we should bring awareness to it. But I think we can bring awareness to it by saying women in Turkey are being killed and that's not cool. And let's talk about that. And we can even create works of art that speak to that, right? We can create pictures specifically about that. And we can create videos and so many things that we can create specifically about that. Like, humans have done that for generations. You posting a picture of yourself, I don't know that it connects me to that. And then the real gag is someone had time, even more than me, and revealed that that's not even what it's about. Like, that, yeah, at one point they latched onto it, but that, like, these things just continue to go around in perpetuity and that none of them, there is no real specific origin about one issue and that, like, it all is just rooted in our vanity. And the one that I really hate the most, I don't know how many of you out there follow actors or creatives, but the one that I hate the most, the absolute most, is that there was one, and it's shown up in a couple different ways. It was pre-corona, and then one just recently came around with corona, where they're saying, and this one was like, at one point it was like 10 pictures, you know, a 10-day challenge of posting a picture where you feel powerful as a performer. No caption, no synopsis, just a photo. That's dumb. Like, I hate that so much. And the reason why I hate it is because on the chance that I am enjoying the photo, right, I want to know why you are looking like this. I want to know what is happening, right? Like, I want to understand that moment where you felt powerful. Why wouldn't you want to invite me into your world? Like, you just want to post pictures of yourself. It's like, literally, what? Like, I just don't get it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So that's all I got. That's that on that. That's all I have to say about that. Y'all can participate if you want. Some of the pictures y'all post are beautiful, and I do, if I like the photo, I'm going to double tap it. Likes are free, so I'm actually very generous with them because they don't cost me anything. I don't have like a finite set. Imagine, I think Facebook and Instagram would be so much more fun if you did have like a finite set. I probably shouldn't say that because now they're going to start charging us to use likes. But, so I do, you know, like stuff that I don't always like. I'm telling on myself. But the challenge is just, I'm not here for it. And if you tag me in them, if you notice your feelings would be hurt because I don't respond to this, I don't care if it's black men, you know, I mean, I do appreciate that you're thinking about me, especially sometimes when it's people that I didn't think would be thinking about me. And I usually will try to reach out and like, let's connect in that way. But like, I'm a black man. We don't tear each other down. We support. Yeah, I support by engaging with products and projects that you are, promoting. When you tell a story about when you felt powerful on stage, I read it and I try to catch you on stage or understand more about your work that you're creating. But just looking at black and white photos of you, I'm less inclined to do that. And I'm probably not going to like stop being a bigot if I was a bigot because of that, or try to free the slaves because of that. But that's just me. So maybe the rest of the world, maybe, you know, maybe that's what will get Black Lives to matter. It's like posting black and white photos. You know what I mean? Maybe when I stand like this, my eyes look pop, and I probably should have gone over to just make them really jump out, but that would have been giving the kids too much. You got to tune in next week. So yeah, so that's what I got on that. Like, this is always fun with you guys, and we do it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, well, Eastern Daylight Time right now. A lot of people don't know that right now we're not in Eastern Standard Time, we're in Eastern Daylight Time. Standard Time is when it's not Daylight Savings Time. But yeah, that's what I got on that. This is always fun. You know what I mean? Like, choose joy, kids. And you can also get your pin that I didn't put on today, but I have my Black and Gay Liberation Intersectionality pin. Don't you just love that? Easy, how that rolls off the tongue. But they're available now at rhinestonestaircase.com. Link in bio. Yeah, so choose joy. That's all I got. Now I don't have to question where you were last night, 'cause I already know what you will say. I already know your life, but I can't be mad at you, 'cause it's something that you don't know. That when you're gone, I do my own thing, and I catch a bone while you're dogging me. Don't think I'm not. Don't think I'm not. Why are they even together in this song? When you're feeling good in somebody's spot, getting hot, don't stop. Just don't think I'm not, 'cause I'm all getting mine. Okay. Oh yeah, don't forget the screenshot. Don't think I'm not in somebody's spot, getting hot, don't stop. I'm not, 'cause I'm all getting mine. Don't think I'm not. Mine.